They say love knows no age, and while age might not create any complexities from an emotional standpoint, it could, if you and your spouse are of different ages, it could create some complexities when it comes to planning for your retirement. And the standard advice may not hold true. In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 tips that could help you ensure a financially stable retirement. I'm Scott with Sierens Financial Group, where we help people with their key questions. Are you on track for retirement? What can you do to improve financially? And how can we help you reduce your tax situation? When it comes to planning for retirement, if you and your spouse are of different ages, it could create some complexities. Today we're going to talk about 3 areas of tips and actions that you can take when creating your plan. These 3 areas are retirement timing, financial aspects to consider, and then health aspects to consider. The first area that you want to consider is timing of your retirement. When do you plan to stop working or to go part-time? And are you and your spouse going to coordinate your retirements in the same year, or are you going to retire in different years? And if you retire in different years, how are you going to handle life when one spouse might still be working and the other spouse is now retired, ready to explore, ready to go on new adventures, ready to take trips or are taking trips with their friends? So some key actions that you want to take in this area is, first off, don't ignore it. Have a conversation about it. Maybe the younger spouse will retire early. Maybe they'll go part-time, or maybe based on your funds, the younger spouse needs to continue to keep working. How about the older spouse? Maybe you really enjoy what you do and you want to keep working, or you want to go part-time. So sit down, don't ignore it, have a conversation about it, and life will always change, but it's good to have a rough plan in place. The second area is financial aspects to consider, and I'm going to break this down into 3 parts, and for each part there's the balance between enjoying today and making your retirement savings last. The first part is retirement timing and funding the gap. Let me show you what I mean by this. Do you have an understanding of how much it costs you to live each and every month? With 2 incomes coming in and saving into your retirement, most likely your cost of living is equal to or lower than both of your incomes combined. Now, what if one person retires? Will you be able to survive on one income, or will you have a gap? And depending on the age differences and retirement date differences, this could create a complex drawdown strategy. This also puts a lot of pressure on your retirement savings to last for one person being retired and then to last for both of you being retired, which could mean that your retirement savings might have to last more than 30 years. Also, if one person were to retire before age 65, have you thought about health insurance and potential increase in expenses? The actions that you want to take regarding this part are to have a plan. If you do have a gap, know which accounts you're going to draw from and why. Also, which accounts you're going to tag for growth to help keep up with long-term inflation and also help make your retirement savings last. Another financial aspect to consider is Social Security planning. A key thing to remember when planning for our Social Security is what could potentially happen if one spouse were to pass away. Let me walk you through a hypothetical scenario. In this scenario, let's just say we've got a couple. One spouse is collecting $2,000 per month in Social Security, and the other spouse collecting $1,500 per month in Social Security. Now, based on their lifestyle and how much they need per month, they do have a gap, which they're then funding through their retirement savings. Now, when it comes to Social Security, if one spouse were to pass away, the remaining spouse only gets to continue to collect one Social Security payment, and you collect the higher of the 2 Social Security payments. So in this scenario, their $3,500 per month income would get reduced to $2,000 per month. And as you can see here, we would have a much larger gap that they would need to fill, and that would put a lot of pressure on the retirement savings, especially if you and your spouse are different ages. That could mean that if one spouse were to pass away and the other spouse still has many years to live, that puts a lot of pressure on the retirement savings to fund that gap so the remaining spouse can continue to live their lifestyle. Some key actions that you can take in this area: one is to let one of the Social Securities grow as long as possible. Another is to save enough, that way if one person were to pass away, your retirement savings would potentially cover any sort of income gaps. Now, if you've already taken Social Security and you're concerned that you might not have enough saved up, if one person were to pass away, well then one spouse might need to start considering how they would reduce expenses, or you might want to look at life insurance to be able to help cover that gap. The third financial aspect that you want to consider is pension planning. For those who have a pension, just like Social Security, this can take some planning. This is finding the balance between enjoying the money today, making your retirement savings last, and then if the pension owner were to pass away, making sure the beneficiary has enough income for the remainder of their retirement. Let's take a look at pension planning, and what we're going to talk about is just conceptual in nature. Please see your specific pension statement and options for details specific to you, and sit down with a professional to see which options may be best for you, your future, and your overall plan. But when it comes to pension planning, there's a couple aspects that you want to consider. One aspect is, what are you and your spouse going to collect today? But the other aspect, especially if you and your spouse are of different ages, is what is the spousal or survivor benefit options on that pension. So just to keep things simple for our discussion here, let's just say your pension is $2,000 a month. Well, a spouse or survivor benefit that could be offered would be 100%, meaning that if you're collecting $2,000 a month today, if the pension owner were to pass away, the surviving spouse would keep collecting $2,000 a month throughout their life. They also offer other additional options like 75% or 50%, meaning if the pension owner were to pass away and you had a 75% spousal benefit, the remaining spouse would collect $1,500 per month through their life. If it was a 50% spousal/survivor benefit, the remaining spouse would collect $1,000 per month from that pension throughout the rest of their life. Now, usually, depending on which option you choose, can also affect up or down how much you will get while both you and your spouse are alive today. Another option that sometimes people look at too is no spousal or survivor benefits. Typically looking at that means that you'll get a higher payment today. But as you can see, these decisions, if you and your spouse are of different ages, these decisions could become very critical to help make your retirement savings and that pension support a retirement timeline that could be over 30 years. So some key actions that you can take regarding pension planning are to let your pension grow as long as possible before deciding to take it, saving enough into your retirement savings so that way if the pension owner were to pass away, that you've got enough in your retirement savings to help cover any sort of income gaps. And the third one is that, especially when there's an age difference between you and your spouse, really consider one of the different survivor benefits offered on the pension or annuity. Before we tackle the third aspect that you need to consider, I hope you're finding this video to be of value. If so, and you'd like to see additional videos just like this to help you build wealth and reduce your overall tax picture, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can do so by hitting the red subscribe button below this video. There's no cost to you to subscribe to our channel, and that way you get notified as we continue to come out with additional videos just like this to help you and your financial future. The third aspect to consider is health. What have you done to protect your retirement savings from a health event depleting it? Think about this. You've saved a bucket of money to support your retirement. Have you weighed the possibility of what could happen if the older spouse was to need extensive long-term care later in life? This could potentially drain your retirement savings, leaving the remaining spouse with less to live on for what could be many more years. A key action to take in this area is looking at long-term care coverage or a hybrid of long-term care life insurance type coverage. Different ages can lead to one spouse working and one spouse being retired. Take a look at our video of spousal IRAs and Roth IRAs, retirement and tax strategies for one spouse working and one spouse not working or retired. There's a link in this video as well as below in the description. The easy answer to this? Well, there is no easy answer. It takes planning, coordination, and flexibility. But hopefully today I've provided you some actions in this video to help guide you along in your journey. If you and your spouse are different ages and you want help to ensure financial stability so you can focus on the joys of retirement, utilize our website to set up a 15-minute complimentary call. Let's chat one-on-one and begin to narrow down the areas that you need to focus on. And don't forget, if you found this video to be of value, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you get notified as we continue to come out with additional videos to help you build wealth and reduce your overall tax picture. Thanks, and have a great day.